you want us to try and do grid? Roger.
I mean, that's a very big grid. It's 41 entries.
It is, but the pace lap here is enough to get through them. So that's why I wasn't sure.
Do a top 10. I mean, we can call them like
they've started now, so no, we won't do grid. Welcome back to Laguna Seca. Apologies for missing out on a little bit there, but the good news is we have not missed a single moment of racing. We are on the pace lap now. Austin Winter is your pole sitter with Gaspers starting alongside him. Two names that are very familiar here in the Weekend Warriors, having competed very well over in the Spec Racer Fords. And you can see they're already getting things warmed up and ready here as they head towards the upper half of the track. It looks like pretty warm conditions out there today, Robert. Is that going to affect the driving all that much?
It depends. I'd say a lot of people are going to be caught out by the fact that, well, I mean, look at the Formula V. It's near got a wing on it, near got some downforce on it. It's all mechanical grip and having to really keep it on your toes as best you can throughout the entire length of the course. I think the biggest difficulty will come with the corkscrew. You know, it's daunting in a lot of cars, but I think in these small Formula Vs, it's going to be even more daunting. You have the full effect of having to go down the hill, but it never seems to end. It's corkscrew. Oh my God, I'm going around it. No! Oh, I'm finally there. But you've got that next corner coming up.
Indeed, and you can see we've got just two more corners coming up. Some names to watch out for. We've got Matt Orr, Empty Box, with us here today. Don't forget about Hugh Haycox and Ian Haycox, a father-son duo back here in different vehicles compared to the Spec Racer Fords, as well as Camel Series we've seen them racing in together. Around that last hairpin and onto the front stretch, Austin Winter waiting for the green flag, which is out, and we are racing for the first ever Formula V Weekend Warriors event. And it's a very good start for those behind him, already pulling some of that slipstream as they get up to power. Some are looking boxed in, though. Look at this. This is going to be an absolute mess down into the corner. Some going three wide as they try to spot their braking. Someone spinning at the front of the pack. Thankfully, it looks like he's off the line. One more going around. Others behind look like they're managing to pick their way through. So small scuffles here, Rob, on the first corner, but otherwise, I think we got lucky.
Yeah, Hugh Haycox there, he just got squeezed coming into turn one. It's a very difficult corner, especially if you're going three wide in these cars. And he just got pipped to the post and just got spun around. Luckily, everybody else was able to scoot around on the inside as there was a natural line forming there. And Hugh, very well to him. Oh, sorry, we've just had another car going off. That's a car going around. That's the
Steve
numbers. Yeah, Steve Ray, 911. And that's... He comes around. Austin Winter and David Gaspers are just striking it on their own right now as they come up to the corkscrew for the first time. Do they tangle with each other coming into it? No, they don't. Very cleanly through, and there's a group behind them led by Greg Stefani. Does he lead them through safely? There's two wide there coming through. I think that's Nicholas Morelli and Ian Haycox.
Now, these are small cars, but trying to go too wide through the corkscrew never seems like a good idea. I'm glad to see they all made it through. Austin Winter and David Gaspers have checked out. We're finishing the first lap, and they've nearly got a 3-second lead. We're already seeing Gaspers rock right up behind that number 33. I wonder if he's going to sit and wait, or will he try and attack early?
We do have a few cars, actually, sorry, just to say, gone off.
Oh, he's going to try and attack. He's going around the outside, down into Andretti. He breaks deep, tries to cut across, but there's a car to the inside. Winter will take the apex among the two of them, and it looks like he'll fend them off successfully behind, side by side as well, between Stefani and McNichol.
Yeah, and he just needs to keep it there. Gaspers needs to continue to pile on the pressure. Austin, the two of them, they've gotten into their own little group, on their own little battle of, and we can have a little bit of tussle, a little bit of game on, as they're just trying to get through. Looking at the car of Greg Stefani being led by, that is the car of Fenez Arabian, car number 6, and the car number 89 battling through turn 5 up into turn 6 to climb up towards the corkscrew. It's more daunting in these cars, I'd imagine, than actually taking the corkscrew as they come through the kink nice and tight. Very well put through.
I think that's McNichol with him, and he's actually going to give it another go. As behind him, you can see another fight between Matt Orr and looks like Ferenz Arabian with him down the hill, and it's going to go to Stefani, who gets into third ahead of McNichol. Arabian slots in behind, or no, ahead of Matt Orr. He managed to get by Empty Box.
Yeah, a very nice move that he made. Just slotted around the outside, and, you know, at this early stage, you know, if you can lose the position but still continue on, more power to you. I think that's the best way to go, especially with these kinds of cars. You know, clean execution of moves is all the game.
Gaspers managed to overtake Winner while we weren't looking, but they're gonna maybe swap around again. Winner trying to duck in early, but once again denied by David Gaspers. They'll stay in position. That's a lapped car coming out of the pits behind them. That's Edgar Sanchinelli returning to the track. That's gonna be way too early for a pit stop, though. He's gonna have to come in again.
Yeah, Gaspers is holding his nice position, and he's just holding it ahead of Winners. Just look there at the group being led. I think that is the car of Greg Stefani leading them now, and he is leading essentially group of 5. A little bit of a tire squeal coming from the car behind him with number 66, Ethan McNichol. As they come up the hill, he needs to just by this time use the corkscrew to his advantage. Going wide. Whoa. Going Greg Stefani. Oh, Stefani, a little bit of a tussle into the sand, and he's almost putting it 3 wide as Ethan McNichol and Ferenz Arabian decided that they wanted to have a little bite of the apple. And come on, Ethan, hold it together through the corkscrew. He's got the inside line, the most advantageous line coming out of the corkscrew, and perfect. What a well executed move there. And you could just see Ferenz Arabian thinking he might want to give Greg a little -2 there on his scorecard. Oh, he does look on the inside. Look at him sending it in on the inside, and brilliantly executed. A very big defense there from Greg as he still pips the post coming over the line, and there that has put Jemison Huffman in a good position to try and go around the outside of coming up into the third one.
Yeah, Ferenz unfortunately did not get a good exit, but he's coming back to it. In the meantime, leaders once again were side by side, but it looks like Gaspers will still retain that top spot. Austin certainly played good defense, but he's going to get a taste of his own medicine at this stage. Now, if you see the numbers on the cars looking a little high in some cases, take note of those. We have 3 classes competing today, a Pro, an AM, and a Masters. The Pro are 0 to 199, the AMs are 200 to 899, and the Masters, which is the 60-plus older crowd, those are 900 and above.
Good to see a good spread as well, and especially shout out to the people in the Masters class. Great to see them racing as we just see the leader of pros, David Gaspers, coming under threat from Austin Winner on the outside coming into the corkscrew. Does he take the inside line? Oh, just about. He's just there at the wheels, almost touching, but he just makes it by. Austin Winner, a very well executed move coming around the outside of the first part of the corkscrew, sliding it in for the second part, and then just slotting in back into first place. And we just see Ethan McNichol still under threat from Florence Arabian this time. Greg Stefani has taken it back, coming down into 5th and 4th position goes Florence Arabian as he looks to see if he can make another move and go up into the first podium spot, but he doesn't this time, holding it nice and steady behind car 66 of Ethan McNichol.
Basically a five-way battle for third place, and now they've got Sancinelli, who's getting on the radio, letting them to know to go to the inside at the hairpin. So he's going to try and stay out of the way, but it's going to be 3 wide. McNichol to the inside, Arabian in the middle, trying to go the long way around his rival. It doesn't quite work, but look at him carry the speed. That bright purple machine now has the inside into turn 3. Job is done.
Yeah, he just played the long game. He thought, you know, let's keep it around the outside. Let's see where we can go with this. And as long as he had that inside line, he had that car right to him from McNichol, he would have had it coming around the next corner to turn 2 into 3, and he just secured it there. And it's now McNichol's battle to fight now, because he's not only got a car ahead of him to battle with, he's now got Greg Stefani, who I definitely think he does want this podium spot, biding his time. And as we can see there, we're looking on board with McNichol as he looks at the bright purple car of Foreign's Arabian. Oh, that's on the inside coming with. That's Greg Stefani going on the inside, but he doesn't execute the move coming through the second half of the corkscrew, and he doesn't ride side by side with McNichol. The car 66 is doing a very good defensive move, not giving the game away, not opening the door. And Stefani is not making the moves that he should be. He needs to keep it there. He had the lunge going on the inside, and he looks again on the inside coming into the final corner, but not far enough side by side with Ethan McNichol.
We had another change for the lead. Winner managed to get by, I think, out of the corkscrew. Gaspers is already beside him once again as they come down into Andretti. Both of them, look at the noses dipping as they get on the binders. And out of the second apex, is Winner going to be ahead, or has Gaspers managed to pull a similar move to what we saw last lap with Arabian? It looks like he has. He's the inside, but he doesn't have the guts to try and seal the deal. He'll get another right-hand turn here coming into turn 4. And once again, unable to chop him off, having to leave room. Winners remains wheel to wheel here, Rob.
Yeah, and he needs to execute this move, this side-by-side action is only going to slow them down, as Foreign's Arabian is going to try and catch back up to him. He has 4 seconds in his pocket to catch back up, but this fighting is doing neither of them good. They need to sit one at a time. There we go. Austin Winner tucking back in front of the car 21 of David Gaspers. Does Gaspers look on the outside, coming up into the corkscrew? We've seen this move happen twice now. Go around the outside of the first part. He does actually make the lunge. He is actually ahead, a car length that just about a car length ahead. He makes the move, seals a deal.
So Gaspers now back in front. By the way, our viewers new to this Formula V, don't worry about the smoke that you're seeing coming out of them. That is normal. They're running healthy. That is randomly generated by iRacing. So that's not an indication of someone losing a motor in one of these cars. As they come out of the hairpin one more time, it's impressive with them swapping the lead as much as they have, Rob, that they are 4.5, 5 seconds ahead of third place rather.
Yeah, Forrand, I think he's just having to deal with the cars behind him as well as the fact that there's a huge gap ahead of him. As you can see, David Gaspers having to defend on the inside as Austin Winner. No, Austin, you've made a mistake, my friend. Don't tuck it around the outside too much. The tarmac does end abruptly, and he just loses too much time coming around. He just a little bit too much of the outside curve. He didn't tuck it in where he needed it.
And we were also getting a glimpse of that battle for third. Ferenz was under attack, but McNichol and Stefani were so distracted by one another. They were the ones that wound up side by side. Greg's got another good run here. He's tucked right underneath. Does he dare try and stick it into turn 5? He's not showing his nose, so no, he's going to stay behind. This group of 5 drivers have not been apart essentially since the drop of the green, and they're showing no signs of splitting up. If you were in this group, though, Rob, would you decide maybe to try and pit now, see if you can get away from it?
It might be too early to do that. I would imagine if the thought is coming to one of their heads, and it's just like, maybe if I do an undercut now. Sorry, that is Ethan McNichol. Yeah, Ethan McNichol is having issues.
No, we had contact between the leaders, ghost contact between Gaspers and Winner, and it looks like they managed to get away with it, but I definitely saw a big slide out of Austin when they got near one another, wheel to wheel. And it's starting to get a little bit feisty. They got to be careful.
These cars are not the kind of cars that you wanted to go bumper to bumper with. I mean, where is
What bumper?
Yeah, what bumper? Exactly. The wheels are the bumpers, but they come off very easily. So let's have less of that and just try and keep it side by side. That is Austin Winter. I think he's got himself psyched up a little bit too much. I think he's trying new things. He's trying to sell a dummy, but I think he's not setting himself up to sell the dummy. But he is tucking right behind David Gaspers. I mean, will be touching the rear of the car at that point. Like, look how close he is, following behind David Gaspers. He could make the move coming into turn 5. He is side by side now going into turn 5. Does he make the move? It is a long sweeping left-hander, so it is a corner. He is ahead. Austin Winter is ahead, but just by enough, he can tuck in now. Perfect. Very well executed move coming on the inside of turn 5. Coming up the hill now, it is Gasper's time to shine. He can use the outside lane, as he's done so 3 times now. He's done the exact same move. He just perfectly executed round the outside. David Gasper's having to let go of the gas a little bit early, just to, I think he just sees that Gasper's just has the ace in the hole when it comes to the corkscrew, really. I mean, it's like a joy to see him take it around the outside. It's a joy.
And that makes me wonder, is it worth Austin trying to defend the other side then? Or do you think it doesn't matter which and just David's got the handle on the brakes better there?
I don't think you can really defend on the outside because you have that inside line, and it's just, you can see here again, Winner going up again for another move.
Yeah, leaders side by side, and Austin to the outside as David tries to defend into Andretti. Lead has swapped back and forth I don't know how many times at this stage, and once again, yeah, it looks like momentum is king here today. If you can keep that speed up, even if it's on the outside line, it seems to pay bigger dividends.
Yeah, Winner actually did do a much better job this time of keeping the car tucked in on the outside of Gaspers, and when they came around to turn 2, they actually had a much better execution of the move, but they've also left themselves open here. That's David Gaspers. What a drive, what a move from Gaspers, but he's still got Austin Winter on the outside. Does Winner? No, he doesn't. He's letting him through the kink going up the hill towards the corkscrew, and he's actually lost a bit of steam to really make a move coming into the corkscrew. He's just going to sit behind him at this moment of time, not making the move. Ooh, Gasper's looking like he might have slid, but kept it going. I thought he was going to go wide coming into the corkscrew, and it's going to really sacrifice your exit speed if you have to, essentially correct yourself through the corkscrew. But he's doing very, very well right now, but he is
under attack again, because there goes Winner. Nobody's willing to give up the lead and just stay patient, and I think it's starting to hurt them. Look at the background. You can see the purple car of Arabian catching. It's down to 2.6 seconds. He can see the fight in front of him now.
Yeah, he's got the car of Ethan McNichol 2 seconds behind him, who was having to battle with somebody behind him, of car number 13, Matt Orens. That is David Gaspers on the inside. Nice move, and here we go again. It's round 13 of the Winner versus Gaspers. 2 teams going at it really well through these, especially 1 and 2 and the corkscrew. It is really how they sort of move around with each other, and it's actually turning out to be 1, 2, 3, and 4, because that is Austin Winter on the inside, looking past Gaspers, who went wide coming through the sweeping left-hander, but he's actually not fully executed the move. He's actually going to go side. Does he go side by side through the kink? No, they don't. It would have been very,
2 wheels off though.
Oh, yeah, that's actually going to hurt Gaspers if he can't go side by side coming up the hill. Once again, on the outside, does Gaspers execute the move? He does indeed, but this time, Winner is side by side, but does he relinquish? No, Winner does not relinquish on this occasion. He actually holds. Winner holds the position coming out of the corkscrew.
Diminishing returns for the 33, or for the 21 actually. as Austin Winter has sussed out how to defend there. Just carries his speed. Now it's down to 1.4 seconds behind them to Arabian. They're going to have a friend sooner rather than later if they keep doing this. So as they come across the start-finish line once more to start lap 11, Gaspers now tries the outside once again. Arabian, could he actually catch them at some point during this lap? So far, that outside line through Andretti's worked well for that whoever is attacking, and it looks like it'll work well once again for David Gaspers. He's back up to the top spot. Arabian, it's still at 1.5 seconds I'm seeing on my timing screen. I have to admit, Rob, I was a little worried because of how little these cars break around here, that the racing might not be good, but this is some incredible stuff.
This is a joy to watch, and it's everything that I wanted and more out of these cars. These are just going at it, and as you can see again, David Gaspers on the inside of Austin Winter. And, you know, there's one really bad thing for the two of them. Some, well, good news for one car, bad news for two cars. The car number 6, a foreign Arabian, ooh, he's caught back up, and he's got some pace. He's got some kilometers an hour over these cars, and he's actually caught right back up. So it's now a threesome.
Oh, no, and they all three come together. And Arabian's going to get away with it. It looks like Gaspers is able to keep going. Winter gets turned around completely. Car is rolling. I don't think he's out of it. They do have one fast repair if they need it, if they get damage. This is where I was getting a little nervous. You saw the move that Gaspers made, almost a block, but it's hard to tell with the track weaving back and forth, and then suddenly a lockup here.
Oh, a lockup from Gaspers there.
Gaspers, yeah.
Yeah, Gaspers locked up, car turned in on the inside in front of Austin Winter. He got turned around, and then it was Foreign Arabian's time to shine.
Watching from Gaspers' perspective, yep, there's the hit. What you want to see in an open cockpit car. And there goes Arabian. Now, Winter decided to pit. Gaspers did not. Arabian did not. As you heard, there's not really much in the way of aerodynamics on this car to worry about. It's mainly, did you damage the suspension?
And did the wheel come off? It's basically just, you just have to keep your head together if something like that happens. We're on board with Matt Orr, car number 13 in 4th. He's looking at the rear end of Ethan McNichol. Now, this is the battle for the 3rd position. The two of them, and we have actually a third, you know, sort of in a mix here, but they all need to, you know, they wouldn't have seen the accident, but they would have seen the aftermath of the accident, and that would have put it into perspective for them. Make the move, make it clean, and make it fast. It's probably the model they're not going to have in their heads.
Well, we'll see if Matt Orr can manage to mine that and get himself on the podium. As Ethan McNichol maybe a little more focused ahead, thinking if I could pull one over on the great David Gaspers, he'd love to be able to tell his kids that. They come down past the pit entry. Nobody coming in this time by, even though we passed the halfway mark, getting ready to start lap 13. Now, they didn't lose too much on Arabian. It's only about 2 seconds ahead of them. If these three work together, if anything, I think that's the better ploy right now. Try and see if you can run down to 6.
It's difficult because essentially, with Gaspers in his current position, he sees that bright purple car of Foreign Arabian, and it's like he can see it. It's so tantalizingly close. But what's also so tantalizingly close is Ethan McNichol, the car number 66 behind him, and then behind him is Matt Orr, the car number 13, and the two of them behind Gaspers. They're not going to give him an inch if he makes a mistake, so he needs to just be uber focused right now. Just make them lines, cut into the corners as best you can, make sure that the door is not open behind him. You know, when he goes up the hill, there's not really much he can do other than just hold the line. If he needs to make a corner as wide as he can, make it as wide as he can. If he needs to make it as narrow as he can, do so. But you can see here that's Ethan McNichol looking at the rear end and so very close to him, as we can see here on the rear shot coming through the corkscrew. It's so tantalizingly close, and it really does take your breath away, especially in these kinds of cars, because it's not the fastest car in the world, but you can have umpteen amounts of joy with these kinds of cars. It's just such a bliss, especially when...
here we go.
Oh, we do have pit stops.
And before we get to those, I do want to give a mention to Theo Taylor, who is leading our AM race right now in the 793 car. There you can see him on screen. Not sure if he'll have to give that back because Antonio Reese has already pitted. He's also running in the AM class and has been in and out. So as our leaders are all in, including Arabian, or stays out. Okay.
Or might have a little bit more fuel just to make it one extra lap. You know, if it's on the cusp, we can just see that is Florence Arabian just coming out of the pits now. A 33-second pit stop in 10 seconds in the box itself. And he's going to be very happy about that because that was one of the fastest so far in the group that we're most excited about. And McNichol, just 2 extra seconds in the box itself, just under 2 seconds extra in the box. So he'll have all the time to make up, but he just sees if he can just keep that group ahead of him, just battling each other. I think he'll be happy about that, but I don't think he'll be happy about the extra box.
Where is Winner now? Remember, he got caught up in that accident, pitted early. Looks like he's in 7th, but he's waiting on 3 more cars in front of him to pit, some of which he'll get spots from, some maybe not, because Matt Orr was near him, I think, when he stopped. Ferenz should be our de facto leader once the stops cycle through. He's got about a 2-second lead over David Gasper still, so that has not changed since then. Wow, Matt Orr still continuing on. Got a whole nother lap in that car. The 13 will lead yet another. And will Ethan Wood be in second? He's yet to stop, but he's already being caught by the 6 of Arabian, who has stopped.
Yeah, even Wood, leader of the Masters class, doing very well for himself. I think he does pop into the pits for a quick pit stop, get that thing done, and back out again. I think he's trying to do what Matt Orr is trying to do, catch back up in the pits. Matt Orr is not going to get to the lead necessarily, but he is going to, I'd say, probably gain 1 or 2 places given his group. And I'd say anybody would be really happy about that. As you can see, the goal is about 11-12 seconds in the box. If you can get 10 seconds, you'd be absolutely happy and hunky-dory. Oh no!
A long one for Wood.
Yeah, Evan Woods, 15 seconds, 2 extra seconds more than I think he needed. Or comparing with the other drivers that are having already taken their pit stops today.
And he's going to get passed by Bately, one of the other Masters drivers, and Reese. So 2 more Masters drivers ahead of Evan Wood. He is now 3rd. He's still on the podium for that class. Something to fight for, but he briefly held the lead, and it has slipped away. There is our leader in the Masters class now, Antonio Reese, who has about is that right? A 5-second lead? Yeah, 5-second lead over Bately.
Comfy as can be, really, and he had the fastest stop out of all of them, 10.3 seconds compared to 15 of Kenneth Batley.
Take a look at one of our Haycoxes. Looks like Hugh here, down in 14th. Rob Hopp fighting for this position as they have both taken their stops. They're ready to go to the end. Matt Orr, our leader, is in, so he's going to hand that over to Arabian. And the only other one, I was going to say we're waiting on Theo Taylor, but he is off track. Looks like he had a big wreck, actually.
Now we're just looking at Florenz as I think he will. Ooh, yeah, he will.
This is going to be close.
Oh, I was about to say to myself, did I just get the math wrong? Just about got the math wrong, but
I think Orr is there. He's going to have a shorter distance here. He's going to come out right with our leader, I believe. Holy cow, Matt Orr has pulled a blinder and saves more fuel than those around him and is now easily into 2nd place just ahead of Gaspers.
I'll take my prediction from 1 to 2 places to 3 or 4. I'll extend the gap, as you can just see that is David Gaspers on the back of Matt Orr, who just screamed into 2nd position. Car number 13 doing very well for himself as he holds off Gasper's coming into turn 4. Any mistakes happen? Nope. Nice and neat through turn 4, up the hill to 5 into the kink. And essentially what you need to do now, if you're Gaspers, you need to take advantage that you've just been putting in laps. You know, the tires are not going to go down in temperature too much. It's not going to really matter too much for these kinds of cars. But, you know, when you've pitted and you come back out for your first lap, you're kind of getting the process started all over again. You just, you know, taking corners by corners, and you're just, you know, refreshing yourself and getting back up to speed, getting back into a routine, because a pit stop can break a routine. You just need to focus, and that is what Matt Orr is doing right now. And you can just see Florence Arabian. It's a 3-man group forming back up again, but not having Greg Stefani back in it this time. He was there. He's shuffled all the way back down to 6th. So, and you know, the 2 cars ahead of him, Winner and Ethan McNichol. I think it's going to be a little bit of a tussle for the 4th place, but
second place getting swapped around. Gaspers snuck beneath Matt Orr and shuffled him backwards. I was going to say that Orr might be a little bit fighting above his weight class, because he is rocking a just shy of 3K I rating versus Gaspers with a 9,000 and Arabian with a 6,000.
Oh, well, I mean, if he's punching well above his weight, I mean, he's doing very well for himself. As Gasper's coming on the inside of Florence Arabian, and Florence having to yield the position as he's gone wide coming into the 4th corner. Up into 5th corner now, passing through the kink. There's a laps car ahead of them. Make it past. The lap car pulling off to one side. Very well, and very good sportsmanship going on all around, actually, throughout this race, and it's to see the racing. It's been entertaining, non-stop entertainment.
I know.
I'm loving every minute of it.
The same here, and I know Weekend Warriors often prides themselves on sportsmanship. As intense as the competition is, they want to make sure that everybody is there for good reasons and not looking to try and do anything that would obviously upset their fellow competitors. They want everybody to have a good time here as hard as they fight. So Matt Orr still sticking with it, and Arabian, now that he's been passed, Gaspers is kind of leaving in the dust a little bit. He's got it up to almost a full second.
Yeah, Florence Arabian, I don't think as we didn't think that Matt Orr would have just been there and sent it in the great pit stop that he had. And now he's under threat. We're on board with Matt Orr, and he's looking at the rear end of Florence Arabian, the bright purple car has come through too. He just needs to focus now. I think Arabian has just, you know, I think he's been shell-shocked by how good of a stop Matt Orr had, and with how fast Gaspers can be. I mean, we saw that battle lap after lap. He was passing around the outside in the corkscrew, and I couldn't tell you how breathtaking that is, just seeing that move happen again and again and again. Coming through the kick. Does Gaspers be under threat? No, it is going to be Arabian that's under threat. Matt Orr is looking on the outside. Pit to the post. Oh, needs to keep it focused. He does tuck back in behind Arabian. He does not make the move. He doesn't emulate what Gaspers does coming through the corkscrew. And Gaspers really pushing it through the corkscrew. He actually made up 0.2 of a second, because they were the three of them were bunching up coming into the corkscrew, and it's just completely spread out again between Gaspers and Arabian.
I was going to say, I think Arabian playing defense like that may have hurt himself a little bit. You talked about being impressed with the quick stop of Orr. I kind of started thinking, I wonder if he put enough in the car. Is he having to lift and coast? You ride the slipstream of Arabian a little bit here? Well, maybe not now, because he's actually going to attack down into Andretti. He has the only driver to have a sub 10-second stop, at least of those within the top 20 of this race. So whenever I see a driver that does something nobody else does in the pit stops, I kind of start to ask questions.
I mean, even if these cars aren't the fastest things in the world, you can still, lift and coast. The principle is always the same. You just need to try and be as fast as you can while saving as much fuel as you can. And I think Matt Orr played to his strengths super well, as he was able to sort of scream from 5th and 6th all the way up into 3rd. Oh, crikey! That is Fords Arabian looking to see if he can make a move around Gaspers, and Gaspers trying to defend himself as he goes around the outside. Oh, Gaspers tucking in on the inside. Very well defended there. But that was Arabian getting a whoopsie daisy right there from Gaspers as he goes on the inside, actually. Inside into turn 8 and 9. Does Arabian seal the deal? He doesn't. He does not seal the deal. Gaspers just having to carry a lot more speed coming through 10 into 11. Does Matt Orr make a move? No, Matt Orr is going to play it safe for now and let these two have their own little battle.
So now your order: Gaspers leads, Arabian second, Matt Orr in third. 7 minutes left to go as they drift across the track, trying to shorten that line as much as possible, coming towards Andretti. They've gapped themselves back to winner by about 5 seconds. He has been gaining somewhat, but I don't think he's got enough time. He had to take that free repair during his early stop, and has basically been relegated off the podium unless we get a wreck from one of these three. Smoking from the back of that bright purple number 6, Arabian is hoping to try and see if he can get past Gaspers, but so far, nothing doing.
Arabian needs to be aware of the situation he's in. He's in the middle of 3, so it's one of the more difficult places to be, because if you're at the back, you can basically sort of sit there all you need to, and if you need to make the move, you make the move, but you also need to make the move into first if you're going for it, if you're going all the way. If you're defending from the front and the rear, it can be an exceptionally difficult task to do. So Arabian needs to make the move forward towards Gaspers, or he needs to continue defending. But if he continues defending from the rear, he's losing Gaspers to the front as they come through the corkscrew very nice and clean. No moves made by Orr on Arabian. Does he make the move? Ooh, no, he doesn't.
Also, a shout out to our 2 other class leaders right now. We mentioned Antonio Reese, that hasn't changed. Also, Chris Martin leading the AM class right now in 12th overall. Not a bad showing for him, especially considering he started from 17th with a very banana yellow car, very appropriate looking for the shape of this machine.
I do appreciate that kind of color on the car. It's very nice looking. So Martin, go you.
Up 5 spots, and basically nobody around him right now, so he's just on his own. He does have some fun happening behind him. Ian Gibson and Hugh Haycox. Hugh way down from where he began this race, started from 5th, he's into 15th. I'm sure he'd love at least one more spot, but he's in the same situation you just described, Robert, where he's stuck in the middle.
Yeah, and it's very difficult, especially when you have 3 wides. Oh, sorry, or 3 cars going at each other. It can be very difficult. That is Hugh Haycox getting past Ian Gibson to give himself some breathing room between himself and Rodriguez behind him. As you can see there, that is Hugh Haycox on the left. Ian Gibson in the middle.
Oh, somebody coming in
the 3rd. Ooh.
Trying to see who that was. I wonder if that was a lapped car.
It is Rodriguez coming in.
No, that was for position. You know what? I think Jesus has already taken free repair. He must have been in before the pit window was able to be open. So he's having to make one more stop to get to the end and give up a lot of spots. But these 3 still together. Gaspers ahead of Arabian, ahead of Orr. Running laps of 142. I think this is 2 to go, or is it 3 to go?
It's going to be 2 to go on the line, but at the very same time, the gap between Matt Orr and winner is actually staying static. It's here and there. I think winner is not able to catch up as best he can. You know, he's not got McNichol behind him giving him pressure, but he's just not closing the gap as he needs. So it is going to turn into a 3-horse race unless the 3 of these, of Gaspers, Arabian, or Orr, slow down, have a big old tussle between the 3 of them, or Gaspers and Arabian have a tussle, or gets ahead. Ooh, that is Arabian looking in inside, coming out to turn 4. Does he make the move? Still side by side coming into turn 4, coming out of turn 4, coming up the hill, start towards the corkscrew. This is where Gasper has already laid his mark of appreciation for good moves. Already going through the kink, side by side through the kink. That is Gasper's on the sands, and that is 3 wide coming up. Yeah, or coming through only 3 wide, or making a move between the 3 of them, in between the 2 of them. That is still Foreign's Arabian on the inside, and he's running away. This is such good racing.
He says, "You boys have fun. You can just keep playing with each other. I'm off to win a race. Look at this." And he's not going to get the white flag this time, I don't think. I think this is 2 to go, because it's got just a hair too much on the clock from what it looks like. He could get reeled back in by Arabian and Gaspers, depending on if they've figured out they need to stop fighting each other so much. They come up the hill. Yes, 2 laps to go this time by, and Orr is leading some incredible company around him.
Yeah, that move through the middle, that was a very risky move, but he made it stick, kept his line, and did very well for himself. But he has 2 laps to hold it, and he's got lapped cars around it. That is Foreign's Arabian going around the outside and going wide, coming out of 1 into 2, and he's gotten shuffled from 1st to 3rd in 5 corners.
Well, that seems to be the nature of this style of racing. And looks like Gaspers is more interested in nature giving him first place as he gets to the inside of Matt Orr. This is where it kicked off last lap when he was overtaken. Now he is the overtakee instead, and he's going to get up front, but Arabian is going to take a page from Orr's book. While those 2 are distracted, he gets to the inside, coming through the flat-out kink, and they're all going to be able to stay on the road this time, with Arabian having the edge coming up to the corkscrew. Orr does not have the opening like he did last lap, backs out of it early, watches the 2 rivals send it into the downhill plunge. They're going to remain wheel to wheel, almost coming together. And as they swing it through rainy curve, Arabian with the inside gets his nose ahead, but barely. Oh, they come together.
A touch of the wheel on the inside of David Gaspers and Arabian. And unfortunately, it's put Foreign's Arabian off into the gravel trap. He can get back going, and he has got back going, but that has upset his... Oh, crikey, that was
Winner.
Winner having an accident all of his own, just going to power too hard coming out of the exit of 11, and unfortunately has all really shuffled down into 5th.
He was in 2nd place for a single corner, and it all came apart in the last moment. Like you said, 5th place now that he's got the car going. Arabian actually still in 3rd, incredibly, after all that. They had put such a gap over everybody else. But how about Matt Orr seeing the white flag wave as he's leading by a handy 3 seconds? Gaspers is fast. I don't think he's fast enough to try and run down Empty Box in a single lap.
Unfortunately, Gasper just... that entanglement with Arabian, it was just a hair too close, and it just ended Arabian's challenge on the 1st position. Gaspers still going, but as he said, 3 seconds down. It's unfortunate for him because he'd been doing so well, and he has been doing well. He's even past the accident between himself and Arabian, still doing exceptionally well for 2nd place. Hats off to him.
Yeah, very much so. But I think this fan favorite, Matt Orr, is going to get a great reception here when he comes to the line. Not the one I would have picked. Started from 10th on the grid. He was fast, but who would have thought winning fast? As he comes out of turn 11, Matt Orr, known to the internet as Empty Box, is going to win here for the first ever race of the Formula V Weekend Warriors. Gaspers takes 2nd, Arabian with 3rd. Winner just off the podium in the end. In fact, he got sniped at the line. No, he did not, excuse me. Time and scoring catching up. Ethan McNichol behind by 0.2 of a second, snagging him a top 5. How about Antonio Reese winning our Masters class here today? Kudos to the 914, starting from 14th, up about 6 spots. And then where is our 666 of Robbie North? He's overtaken Chris Martin. So we have a new leader here in the AM. We had so much action coming down. Well, this crayon has winner written all over him. The 666 is your victor here in California.
It would be my livery of the race.
That is an excellent one. Yeah, hopefully as the season goes on, we get more chances to actually inspect them, because I've seen some fun ones posted online. In the meantime, we're going to take a quick break here on the Global SimRacing Channel. We'll come back with the unofficial results as well as driver interviews, so stick around. Welcome back to Laguna Seca, where we just watched round 1 of the Formula V Weekend Warriors, brought to you by Ring Free. And in the end, the inaugural winner was Matt Orr himself, who pulled one over on David Gaspers and Florence Arabian, who fought a little too hard. And unfortunately, the nature of the internet caused them a little bit of contact, and they had to settle for 2nd and 3rd, respectively. Austin Winner, who actually could have snuck into 2nd place himself, spun just as he took that position away right after that incident between Gaspers and Arabian, and Winner had to settle for 4th. Ethan McNichol, who was at periods involved in the battles, got a top 5 with Greg Stefani finishing 6th today. Then it's Jamison Huffman in 7th, Antonio Rees in 8th, and Evan Wood in 9th. Robbie North rounds out our top 10. Robert, what's the next 10 look like?
Next 10 will be the 411 headed by Chris J. Martin in 12th. Rob Hopp taking the 500 car home to a nice satisfactory finish. Hugh Haycox in 13th. In the 893 car of Ian Gibson in 14th. And 15th is going to be James Hodgson. And in 16th, the 714 of Nicholas Borelli. Kenneth Batley, after having a good start, fell down the order into 17th. Jornej Zorek, the 82 car, in 17th. In 18th is Stephen Mitchell. 19th will be Jesus Rodriguez, who we thought both of us thought that he would have had a good run, but then had to take a pit stop. And finally in 20th is going to be...
Here's Kenneth Bately. And Justin Huffman was in 21st with Bill Kraus in 22nd. You've got Tom Gradwell, P23 today. Then it's Flavio Andalo in the 24th spot, followed by Sancinelli having to take an extra pit stop, wound up 25th. Leroy Coppage was 26, first car 2 laps down. You get Danny Thomas behind him in 27th. Charlie Rogers in 28th. David Davidson in 29th. From there, you get to drivers who had very bad days. Alex Aubuchon in 30th, 5 laps down. I think it's mostly DNFs to the bottom of our 41-car grid, unfortunately. But the winner, or the second place finisher of this race, David Gaspers, joins us. David, you were basically in the fight for the lead for just about the whole race, and it all kind of fell apart with about a lap and a quarter to go.
Yeah, that was a bit annoying. I'm not sure what's going on there because I've seen stuff like that happen a lot in that video car. It feels like the damage, the hitbox is a bit too big because we were nowhere close to each other.
Yeah, we kind of caught that on screen. It is a bit of a shame that it came down to that. Before then, it seemed like you and Ferenz were having a good time. Were you grinning in there?
Yeah, I felt a bit bad for Austin because before the pit stop, I messed up in the corkscrew. I accidentally used second gear, and you cannot use second gear in this car. I hope stuff like that will stop happening in the future as I get more used to it. Yeah, in the beginning, we already had a huge gap because of stuff happening behind us. And so we just didn't want to have a boring race, I think, and thought.
Well, this is obviously a very new car, but familiar organization and format for you, having run in the Weekend Warriors for so long. How easy was it to adapt? Does this feel like just putting on an old shoe to you?
The car or the series here?
Oh, both.
The car is not too different to the spec race on the old tires, I think. So it's not that hard for me to get used to it. It's just that I sometimes forget not to use second gear. And yeah, the format is the same. I'm not really a fan of pit stop races because of the fuel saving, but can't really change that.
Yeah, it's I guess the nature of the beast. Well, commiserations that it wasn't a win on the opening race, but still second place is a handy bit of points in your pocket. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, thank you for broadcasting it, and Steve for organizing this. And yeah, also sorry again to Austin for using second there. I think he was the fastest of all of us today, so it's a bit of a shame that he wasn't fighting for the win for us. With us.
Well, judging by what we saw, I'm pretty certain we'll see all three of you vying for wins throughout this season. That was David Gaspers, our second place finisher here today. And that's going to close us out. We didn't have anybody else that wanted to talk to us from the podium. Love to have heard from Matt on that victory, what was going through his emotions at that time. But a big thank you to our sponsor, of course, Ring Free. It's a unified VoIP for your essential business. Find out more at ringfree.com. Choose connection. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcast listed here on your screen. And additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for her Bandcamp, where you can find more of her great work. Thanks to the team today, Rob, Sean, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. Also, check out our social media. We've got all the outlets listed at the bottom of the screen. And if you'd like to support the channel, check out our merchandise store. Simply simracingmerch.com/GSRC. And we keep a link in the description below, so it's nice and easy to find. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a moment, because next week we're going to Olton Park. That'll be Saturday, June 26th at 3:45 p.m. Eastern. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out. Mark them down on your calendar. Until next time, race clean, race hard. See you on the track.